Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome, everyone, in the course of learning Surah Al Baqarah. May Allah make it beneficial for all of us, inshallah. So, a lot of people have gone through these issues, a lot of issues such as disease, such as, subhanAllah, psychological disorder, and I have seen them. I have seen them myself. Some people had cancer, and subhanallah, when they started to read Surah Al-Baqarah for some time, for some days, they got healed. Also, people who have had, like, subhanallah, they were diagnosed with bipolar disorder, physical disorder, mental disorder, they got healed, subhanallah, because of Surah Al-Baqarah, and they were on medications for 12 years, really. But Surah Al-Baqarah, subhanallah, has an amazing power. Until now, we don't know what the secret is like, but that's why, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left it like that. We have some narrations from the Prophet ﷺ, he's affirming that it's blessed, it's a surah full of blessing. But it's different blessings. It's not only one blessing. Even if you are lost, even if you don't have clarity in your future, even if you don't know where to go, what to do, which college you would like to join, which husband, which spouse you would like to get married, subhanallah, it gives you clarity in your path. It's like a spotlight, subhanallah, on your dark path. It opens up the clarity and everything, and it guides your path all the time, subhanallah. So that's why Surah Al-Baqarah has a miracle. And really, if you don't spend some time on learning it, you would be losing a lot. That's why you need to spend the time. Subhanallah, we spend many years in learning, in joining or attaining a certificate or a degree. I see, subhanallah, I believe that Surah Al-Baqarah is much better than any degree. Really, I swear to Allah, because of the power of it, because of the beauty of it, because of the transformation you will be getting from it, subhanallah, when you start reading it. But you need to be consistent on reading it and see the blessing. At the beginning, it's not easy to read it and get all the treasure or the secrets behind it. Because subhanallah, when you start reading it, you will get a lot of attacks from shayateen, a lot of attacks from even family members. You will be finding conflicts around you to stop you from reading it, to stop you from continuation, and also to keep reading it. They will be preventing you under any possible way from their side to stop you. That's why for those people who start reading Surah Al-Baqarah, you will be finding their comments, they are always having this feedback that they stop or they give up because of the problems that the start arise in front of them. Also conflicts in work place and family members between with their spouses as well, everywhere, because shaitan doesn't like Surah Al-Baqarah to be read at all, okay? And subhanallah, he knows that once you read Surah Al-Baqarah, all the blessings will be happening to you, and shaitan doesn't want you to be happy at all. He wants you to be in desperation and grief and sadness all the time. He doesn't want you to achieve your dreams. He doesn't want you to be energetic. He wants you to be losing hope all the time, because once you lose hope, once you lose passion in this life, you will not be having the passion to worship Allah. So he has attained his goal in the end. So that's why Surah Al-Baqarah will be giving you even the energy to do it, even the energy and the energy in this life, the passion in this life. Subhanallah, you will be finding yourself happy with no reason. Um, it has a lot. Even if I keep speaking about the power and the beauty of Surah Al-Baqarah, I will not cover it. I will not. It's not possible to be covering all the blessings of it. But Surah Al-Baqarah, we need to just endure some moments of, I know, some time of learning it. But inshallah, by time you'll find yourself getting yeah, like subhanallah, used to it and reading it very smoothly, and you will never be abandoning it. So why do we find it somehow challenging? Maybe because of the understanding the sequence of the stories in it. Maybe because of the length, but I can see that the length of the surah can be adjusted, inshallah, by time, when by repetition. by consistency, you will find that this length gets less. Like a lot, you would find a lot of people have started reading Surah Al Baqarah. They have started with subhanallah 2 hours, and then after some time of reading, it ended with 1 hour 45 minutes. People have ended up with memorizing it until it reached to 30 minutes, subhanallah. So it gets reduced once you get used to reading it. At sometimes at the beginning it only shows that it's big, it's heavy, but by time it becomes very, very smooth, inshallah, by time. And when you like, subhanallah, try to look at Surah Al-Baqarah as if it's your tablet for the day, the tablet, subhanallah, that would make you energetic, protected as well, and shielded from the harm of people, from the harm of life, from the harm, because subhanallah, this life is full of harm. If we don't protect ourselves with Quran, with dhikr, with Surah Al-Baqarah, we will be attacked easily by the harm of people and the harm of shayateen as well. So you would be finding yourself getting out with no protection. You would be exposed to all the all kinds of harm, such as fights, conflicts, and car accidents. Also, the harm of people around you, your colleagues in workplaces. All of these, subhanAllah, harm from people and shayateen. If we protect yourself with this, subhanAllah, Quran, with this dhikr, you will never be exposed to these. They will be very, very minimized, and you will not be in this chaotic life. You will have life of peace, same as the life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised us with. So we just need to believe in that, because it's a test of belief in the end. This is a test of faith. To believe in the power of this unseen. If you come to believe in it, then you are considered a believer. And the test is not only to test us being Muslim only. No, you need to be a believer as well, not only a Muslim. A Muslim and a believer, they complete each other. It's not only a matter of praying and reading the Quran. These are obligations. I got to do them, but at the same time, I got to believe in the unseen. I got to believe in the power of the Quran. I got to believe in the power of Allah, in the power of dhikr, that they are very necessary to my protection, because Allah has said so. Then I got to believe in that. I got to believe that there is death. I got to believe that there is hereafter, there is Jannah, there is Jahannam. I got to believe in all of these because it's a part of my test. If I don't believe in them, if I don't believe in the power of these, then I have an issue in my faith, in my aqidah, in my creed. So make sure that you believe in all of these, okay, so that you get the power of them. Surah Al-Baqarah, because you would be finding some people who would be saying that it's not just to read Surah Al-Baqarah, I get solutions. Yes, if you believe in this, you will get it. This is the power of faith. Once you believe in them, it heals, subhanallah. And the Prophet ﷺ used to heal, subhanallah, with Surah Al-Fatiha. He affirmed that the healing of Surah Al-Fatiha can heal as well. Like and subhanallah, they were physical wounds. But it depends on the power of faith that you're having. If you doubt, and if you keep saying that medication is more important, then you lose the faith. Then you lose this impact. You need to understand that the medication is only logical mean. Is a mean, caused mean, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has caused me to take it. But it will never be activated without the power of Allah or the will of Allah. This is how I should be believing in. But if you become to believe in the scientist or the doctor or the one who has created the medicine and leave Allah, then you have an issue. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then I know that Allah is the one who's controlling all of these things to move around me, to move for my sake. He's the one who's controlling the medication. He's the one who's controlling the power of, he's the one who's controlling the people, the scientist, the doctor, to invent and create these things, and then they would be like used camouflage for testing me. Would I be believing in them or Allah? I would be taking the medicine, it's fine. But when I'm taking it, I say Bismillah shafi, in the name of Allah, the healer, the one who's healing. It's him, not the medicine. But I'm just following the system that he has created. This is how it should be. But if I come to say that I believe in the power of medicine and ignoring Allah completely, then I have an issue in my faith now. So I need to fix this. How? I should be going back to Allah. I should be understanding His abilities, His power, His know more about His attributes and His names, so that I would be getting close and I would be connected through this faith. So it's kind of you need to be to have the knowledge and faith and also connection and ibadah, so that you get this clarity or this connection. So let's start with knowing about Surah Al Baqarah, okay? But first of all, how to approach a long surah without feeling overwhelmed, okay? As we know, today in this session, we will come to know the clear structure, guidance, the clear structure of Surah Al Baqarah. It has different themes such as guidance, history, identity, law, society, and accountability. And follow this structure of this course, and you will never be lost in the vastness of this surah. Inshallah, I made it very easy for you to understand the sequence so that it will be easy for us to follow up, inshallah, with reading it. So, uh, to get used to this surah, just one focused hour each day will make the surah easy to recite and retain. You have 24 hours, just make 1 hour per day. It's worth it. It's worth it to learn, to get used to reading it and reciting it and understanding it in one hour per day. Consistency is the key, and the knowledge will follow, inshallah. If you find it very hard to listen to the surah, to read the surah, you can listen to YouTube, for example, or a reciter, and keep reciting after him. And then you try to set a plan for yourself. Say that from verse 1 to verse 70, for example, I will be listening to this for the whole week. And then, subhanAllah, by the time you will find yourself very easy to say it yourself afterwards. Like you are a human being, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the power to understand and learn as well. So you have it. Don't say it's complicated. Don't say it's impossible. It's possible. We can do anything as human beings. We can learn anything. This is the only thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us unique with the other creatures, the power of learning, to learn, to distinguish between things, to think as well, to have this wisdom. That's why we are provided with this as a human being. So you already have this feature activated in you. Don't try to say that it's not new. No, it's a part of you. So let's start with knowing about Surah Al Baqarah. Introduction. Surah Al Baqarah is the longest chapter in the Quran, and it was revealed after the Hijrah, the migration from Mecca to Medina. And subhanallah, all the Mecca surah, which they focused on Tawheed at the beginning of Islam. It focused more on Tawheed and building belief in the heart so that people would be turning to Islam. It was all of these surah, they were Makkiyah. But subhanallah, Surah Al Baqarah revealed after the migration to Medina, and it focused on other parts. Okay, so and also scholars of Ulum al-Quran, they confirm that it was revealed gradually over approximately 9 to 10 years, beginning the first year after Hijrah. So we can say in Medina, and continuing until close the farewell Hajj, the last Hajj for the Prophet ﷺ. And it was not revealed all at once, it came in stages as events unfolded. Why gradually? Because the Muslim community was growing, and it was growing at that time in Medina, and each passage came as a direct response to what the Muslims were facing at that moment and building their society. It was building their laws, the laws of Islam, their identity step by step. And this surah came to community that had just formed a state and needed guidance for real life. So we can say it addresses belief, law, history, identity, patience, resilience, and also how to be submitting and surrendering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Muslims, So the Muslims had just arrived in Medina. We have just mentioned that they needed to know how to live together, how to build this community of Islam with each other and with those around them. Then the surah gave them the social and moral foundations to build on. And for the first time, Muslims needed rulings. They started to need and require rulings on everything, on prayer, how to perform prayer, fasting, marriage, trade, inheritance, because it's completely different. New rulings from Jahiliyyah, from the years of ignorance. So Al-Baqarah contains more really legal rulings than any other surahs in the Quran, because it started to put the foundation for the Muslim community at that time. And they were also surrounded by Jews, hypocrites, and pagan tribes, disbelievers everywhere, and each with their own claims and pressures. And this Surah Al-Baqarah gave the believers clarity on who they were and what they stood for, and all the people who surrounded them, so that they would be cautious and careful from them. Also, it created a new political community. Muslims faced internal doubts and external threats, and revelation came as real time guidance for real situations, not abstract theory, but direct answers to what the community was living through at that time. And also, we can say that the Meccan surahs built to the heart again, which is Tawheed. So, Surah al-Makkiyah focused more on Tawheed, belief, patience, but the Madani Surah focused more on building the community, law, identity, and the governance and social order. And Al-Baqarah, we can say, is the first and the greatest of Madani Surah. It's where Islam moved from a personal conviction to complete way of life, to community, to build or to build the foundation and the structure of the whole community. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not, of course, overwhelm the new Muslim community with all the rulings at once. He built their hearts before their laws and their identity before their instructions. So let's look at the narrations of the Prophet ﷺ. Why Surah Al-Baqarah? He said, اقرأوا سورة البقرة فإن أخذها بركة وتركها حسرة ولا تستطيعها البطلة. Recite Surah Al-Baqarah. This is his advice of the Prophet. For taking it is a blessing. Okay, he said a blessing. But which kind of blessing? He made it general. It means that blessing in everything. There is blessing in your time, in your money, in your effort, in your energy, subhanAllah, in your passion. Everything you will be having blessing, and blessing is a treasure. If you get this blessing, it means that you will be saved completely. Imagine blessing, subhanallah, like everything will be saved with you. It wouldn't be wasted. Like you would be having thousands of dollars and then it would be wasted on medicine and accidents, right? Because there is no blessing. And also time, your time would be wasted over silly trivial things and you didn't get any use of them. With the wrong people, you have wasted your time with the wrong people, the wrong decisions. So, but when we get the blessings, subhanAllah, all of these will be filtered out, will be arranged. You will not have this kind of waste at all. Your money will be saved, okay? And you wouldn't be having a lot of accidents to waste them. And also you will be having blessing in your energy, inshallah, as well, your health and also your effort and your time. You will find yourself, subhanallah, your life will be filtered out, who should be going into your life, entering your life, and who's going to be out, subhanallah. You will be having this intuition to filter those faces in front of you, and it will be very easy to know them, recognize if they have darkness in their hearts or not. You will have basira, you will have insight, you will have all of these are labeled under blessing. And leaving it regret, of course, when you leave it, especially those people who have tasted reading it, they will be going through regret if they once they leave it, because regret, they will, subhanallah, the protection will be lifted and the blessing will be lifted, and really they will be regretting reading it, and they will be, subhanallah, for those people who are living without reciting Surah Al-Baqarah, they are already in regret and sometimes they don't feel it. And the magicians cannot overcome it. Magicians also cannot overcome this. Subhanallah, no magic happens, no sihr, no evil eye are gonna attack you. And by the way, these things are they are around us, they surround us. We need to admit their existence as well. This is a part of our faith. It's not fairy tales. We have evil eye, we have sihr, we have magic. All of these are there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He already stated them in the Quran. So it means that they are around us. We have these these evil powers, but we need to protect ourselves from them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has already sent us the guidelines book to on how to protect ourselves from these evil things. So, and the Prophet ﷺ affirmed also that we should be protecting ourselves by Surah Al Baqarah because the magicians cannot overcome it. You will be having a full shield, entire shield around you. Also, the Prophet ﷺ said that لا تجعلوا بيوتكم مقابر, don't make your houses graves. إن الشيطان يفر من البيت الذي تقرأ فيه سورة البقرة. Shaitan flees from the house in which Surah Al-Baqarah. And when shaitan is not there around, everything will be in peace. So that's why he said that, subhanallah, he compared here the bayt, the house without Surah Al-Baqarah, it's like a grave. Imagine, look at the analogy here. So, subhanallah, also like this surah, the Surah Al-Baqarah protects the home spiritually, and regular recitation brings barakah and repels evil and keeps the heart connected to divine guidance. This is the schedule for the whole structure. This week we're gonna start with verses 1 to 74. So please make sure you get your Quran and Mus'haf with you. If you have a paper copy now with you, it's better to open it with me so that we would be looking at the verses while we are going through the slides, so that you get much benefit. And we're going to go through from verses 1 to 74 first this week, and then we continue, okay? But we're going to go through the themes of every part and knowing about the stories behind them and all the tales, inshallah. We will do our best to cover them. And by the end, we will have a reciter, inshallah. Sheikh Walid is going to recite that part for you, for those. I'm going to finish after the last slide, and then he will be joining to recite that part from 1 to 74. If you would like to recite after him, he will be there to recite. He will be reciting. You can open your Mus'haf and recite after him, so that you would get much benefit as well. So this week, inshallah, we're going to focus on verses 1 to 74, foundations of guidance, the story of Adam and Bani Israel's early history in that part. So let's focus on it. So like this part, which is from verses 1 to 74, we have here three main themes or parts. We have the first one, which is verses 1 to 20, three types of people. The Quran here talks about three types of people. The Surah Al-Baqarah mentions three types of people in the verses from 1 to 20. They are the true believers, and then the disbelievers, and then the hypocrites. So, and each described, subhanAllah, with full details to help us diagnose our own hearts so that we be careful, okay? He is describing all of them, the three types of people, the believers, true believers, how they feel, how they think, the disbelievers, and the hypocrites, how do they look like? And the second part, which is verses 21 to 39, it talks about the story of Adam alayhi salam, the creation of humanity, the command to the angels, the refusal of Iblis because of his arrogance, and Adam's repentance, and the story about honor, arrogance, and the power of turning back to Allah. Then we have verses 40 to 74, Bani Israel, and hardness of the heart, their hearts when they got hard and harsh, and the early history of Bani Israel, their blessings, their covenants, and how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has helped them, and the patterns, their patterns of ingratitude as a warning and mirror for us as well. So let's start with the beginning of Surah Al Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins and opens the surah with the characteristics of the true believer. The true believer, he's saying what ذلك الكتاب ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. And this verse, subhanallah, it's very comprehensive. Like when we analyze it, subhanallah, if you come to analyze it, it takes really hours to finish it, to try to finish. Like, this is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those who are conscious of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not opening here the surah with a command. He's opening it with a declaration. He's declaring that this book, the whole Quran, is guidance. And guidance, what kind of guidance? Guidance means clarity in everything, subhanallah. It will be the spotlight for you on your dark path. It would be clarity for everything, guidance towards the right people, the right decisions, the proper path, what to do, even subhanallah, the clarity about every step in your life. You will be having this clarity and guidance to distinguish which knowledge is the proper one, which one is wrong. Even the knowledge, sometimes we receive people would be receiving knowledge and they turn to be atheists because of that knowledge, because they didn't get guidance. Guidance is very important. To get this clarity of guidance, it's very important. So, ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. So this book, there is no doubt guidance for those who are conscious of Allah. So guidance means that I would be guided to everything in my life, proper one, the proper one that would be taking me to the proper, the best choices in this life, and also that would be taking me to the best choices in this life that would lead me to the best permanent residence, which is Jannah, inshallah. So it helps everything. It helps me through this path, this world life, in taking good proper choices in my life, not to be deviated, not to be drifted away with wrong people, wrong choices, wrong spouse who would be wasting my religion. Okay, so hudan, subhanallah, clarity, full guidance, even if it looked evil, but it's make sure that as long as you are connected with this book, you will be under guidance, and you will be always guided to the proper path. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is opening the surah with this command, that this is the book which there is no doubt guidance for those who are conscious of Allah, and only look للمتقين. He made it very exclusive, only for what? For who? للمتقين, those who are conscious of Allah. How? Like, subhanallah, somebody who's disbelieving, and he would be reading Quran like to try it out or to see, and he has this kind of doubt in himself, it will not work out with him. He must be someone who's conscious of Allah, and he fears Allah, and he's doing his best to be connected to Allah. Then he would be getting this guidance, this benefit from the Quran, subhanallah. So the Quran is not working on a bad soil at all. It works on a good soil, soil of faith. When you have good soil of faith, good heart, sound heart, you will be getting this hudan, this guidance. So it's only for those whose hearts are prepared to receive it, those who are God conscious, and those who already carry an orientation toward truth. They know that this is the truth. Subhanallah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He didn't leave it like that. He continued with describing those al-muttaqin. Who are al-muttaqin? He said that they have 5 qualities, okay? They believe in the unseen, iman in what cannot be seen, Allah. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. They believe in what is unseen, Allah, the angels, the hereafter. This is the foundation of all belief, to believe in them, to believe in their existence. If you are saying that or claiming that you're Muslim and you don't believe, when we mention angels and you say that when you come to say that the angels are fairy tales, or you don't have this faith or believe in them, then you have an error. You have a problem with your faith in here. So الذين يؤمنون بالغيب is when you believe in the unseen, Allah, angels, the hereafter. This is the foundation of all belief. And then الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة, those who establish prayer.
they do it. They do it properly. Not only performing, but establishing prayer with full presence, regularity, on time, of course, okay, on its place. When you qim salah, to do it, to establish prayer on time, with presence, with khushu', with regularity, doing it all the time, not to skip it. This is the quality of the muttaqeen, those who are conscious of Allah. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and subhanallah, and spend out of what we have provided for them. They spend from what Allah has provided, an acknowledgement that wealth belongs to Him. Like you know and you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Razaq, the provider, and He's the one who's providing you. And you will be always expecting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending you this money to help also people around, to spend over your family, your spouse, your children, to also help other people. You know that this money is coming from Allah. He said, مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ. So you believe that the source of provision is from Allah. This is the source, okay? And you use this money. When you use them properly for the sake of Allah as well. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ, and who believe in what has been revealed to you and what was revealed before you. He's talking to the Prophet ﷺ, for like those who believe in what has been revealed to you, which is Quran, and what was revealed before you, of course, before they got distorted, of course. So believe in the Quran and all the previous scriptures in their original uncorrupted form. This is also one of the quality of al-muttaqeen. Also, وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُقِنُونَ, certainty in the hereafter. Yaqeen, full unwavering conviction in accountability, resurrection, and the next life. They believe entirely in the akhirah, in the hereafter. That there is resurrection day, there is judgment day, they will be held accountable on everything they are doing. This is also a quality of al-muttaqin. If you have all of these qualities, when you read Quran, it will be activated with you, this hudan. You will get the guidance. Once you get connected with that, you get the benefit or the impact of this guidance in your life. Once you get connected with this book and you have these qualities of believer, or the true believer, and the one who are conscious of Allah. So, and then this part is for like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the surah with describing the true believers. Then He moves to disbelievers now, when the heart closes. In these verses, He starts to talk about verses 6 to 7. He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Indeed, those who disbelieve, it's all the same for them, whether you warn them or don't warn them, they will not believe. He's talking to the Prophet like, no need to, like, they are disbelieving and they are very stubborn, okay? And we have tasted them many, many times. They are closed, sealed. Nothing will be working with them. So these verses speak of those whose disbelief is very stubborn choice, and they have heard the truth many times, but they keep rejecting it. And this warning is not about all disbelievers. It describes a severe state reached after a long history of proud and deliberate denial. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, what khatam Allahu ala qulubihim wa ala sam'ihim wa ala absarihim. Allah, what happened? What was the punishment they got in this life? He said He has set a seal upon their hearts and upon their hearing. There is already a seal upon the heart. You know, the heart, the place of feelings, subhanAllah, the place of intuition, the place of basira, of insight, of this vision, the vision of the unseen, the vision of the truth. The eye is already having the sight. Only the eyesight, subhanAllah, is just checking and filtering the appearance, which is sometimes deceiving, most of the time deceiving for us. But the heart is checking the inside of people. And I want to be getting this insight. I get it only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when I get connected to Him. If I'm not connected, I don't get this insight. I don't get this intuition. Subhanallah, the vision of the heart, to scan people from their insight, from their depth, things from their depth, subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made what on their hearts, on this place of feeling and things, and it's the true feeling, the true insight. What did He do? He sealed upon them. Sealed, closed. When you have envelope, when you dispatch it, and then you seal it, like you close it. No, it will not be opened. And their hearing as well. They will not hear the truth. Even if you keep, as long, like even if you keep saying the truth, they will not hear it. They will not be able to hear it. And over their vision, they will not see, subhanallah, على أبصارهم غشاوة. They will not see the truth. Like the truth is completely concealed from their side. They don't see it at all. They will not be able to see it. And for them is a great punishment. This is the punishment of the world life, to be seeing only the deceit, the illusion, the delusion. They will be misguided completely. They will not be seeing the truth at all. Subhanallah. You will be finding people who are like that. They are disbelieving. They are completely blind, too blind to see any truth, too blind to hear it, to believe it, even to feel it. Sometimes you would find them very stubborn even to feel it, to believe you, to understand. They don't have even the feeling. They make fun of everything, of their religion and everything. This is, subhanallah, people who have reached that ceiling, like the lock, okay, of their hearts, on their hearts, or their hearing and their vision as well. So disbelievers, okay, so like the qualities or the characteristics of those disbelievers, they are always in persistent rejection, warning and silence are equal to them, not because the message is weak, but because the heart has stopped receiving completely. Repetition of truth no longer moves them, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tested them thousands of times, but they rejected the truth entirely and completely. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of the hearts. He knows that if the heart is still soft to receive or not, but once the heart gets hardened and like a stone, then He seals it. Then arrogant denial. Their disbelief is not confusion or doubt, it's a deliberate refusal. They know, yet they reject. This is the most dangerous form of disbelief. And sealing as a consequence, the sealing of the heart is not injustice from Allah, it's the natural result of the repeated choice. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is knowledgeable about their hearts. And scholars explain that Allah seals the heart after the person has sealed it themselves. Like He doesn't seal it because there was something good in it. No, it already gets sealed after they have sealed it themselves. Then Allah closes it completely. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves from verses 8 to 20 to the hypocrites. And hypocrisy here is the most dangerous form of disbelief. And it got addressed in more verses than denial, than disbelief. Because hypocrites, subhanAllah, they are the most dangerous type of people. Because hypocrites blend with believers, like subhanAllah, they used to live with them. And they during that period of that time of moving to Medina, from Mecca to Medina, and when the Muslim community started to have a lot of victory around, and they won a lot of battles, people around them, they started to be submitting to Islam, showing that they are Muslims because they were getting intimidated by Muslims by their victory. But at the same time, they are not convinced from inside. So because they were intimidated, then they started to show off to Muslims that they are doing the same. They are praying, they are reading Quran, but there is hypocrisy inside them. And they are not believing. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us here their characteristics. They pray and they do everything same as Muslims, but from their inside, when they go and turn to be by themselves, they are completely hypocrite, and they are showing off the contradiction of what is in their real hearts. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just focused more on them, more than the disbeliever, because the disbeliever at least is very clear. It's very clear to know if he, I know, he's very clear, he's admitting that he's disbelieving. But the hypocrite, they are very dangerous because they don't show that. They show that they are Muslims and normal people, but subhanallah, they are very dangerous because they don't admit it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ, and if the people among you Muslims, you will have people who say we believe in Allah and the last day, but they are not believers. He's warning them, be careful. You have now in this community people around you who keep saying that we believe, but they are not actual believers. And يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا, they think to deceive Allah and the believers, but they deceive. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, what? Then they deceive none except to themselves, and they perceive it, they don't perceive it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this deception, Allah is aware completely of it, and it will harm them after that. And also he said that he mentioned their hearts, that في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا. Those type of people, those type of hypocrites, in their hearts is a disease. So Allah has increased their disease, like because of this disease of deceit and covering the truth, okay? And this is the most dangerous disease. We have disease of the zunub, which is disease of sins, committing sins, and we have the disease of aqidah, of your belief and faith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they have this disease of aqidah itself, of faith, and in their hearts, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has increased their disease because of the foundational one that they have. And for them is painful punishment because they used to lie. They will be also punishment. They will be also having punishment in the hereafter, of course, because of their deceit. So spiritual sickness grows with every lie until it becomes the defining state of the heart. They will be like that. This is their structure. And وإذا قيل, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in describing them, وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض, and when it's said to them, like when somebody would advise them and tell them don't cause corruption on the earth, they say we are but reformers. Like they call corruption reform. They don't admit it. They keep denying and they keep deceiving. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Unquestionably, like indeed, they, without doubt, it's that they are the ones who are corruptors, but they don't perceive it. Allah exposes here the reality. They cannot see about themselves. They are the fools. They are the corruptors, not the believers they mock or make fun of. And then they have also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is affirming and showing that they have two faces. وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, when those hypocrites would meet the believers, they would say, we believe. But when alone, when they are being left with, subhanAllah, but when they are alone with their evil ones, when they get isolated by themselves and turn to be alone, they say, we are with you. وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى الشَّيَاطِينِ, we are with you with the shayateen. They admit that they are on the side of shayateen. We were only mocking, we were only making fun of those believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exposing them here to the believers. Be careful, you have this type of people around you, among you. They eat with you, they pray, they read Quran, everything, but they have this heart. And this is also showing us that the heart is completely different from what's showing off. Some people will be having a life, subhanAllah, sometimes they are showing off that they are doing certain ibadah, but we are not aware of their inside. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, be careful, be careful, you might have those type of people as well. So two completely different faces. Those hypocrites, they subhanallah, they are always they are always contradictory. The face that is outside or the external one is completely different from the internal one. And then he also like subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also focused on them, on those verses from 8 to 10. And the final 6 verses of this section reveal the consequences of hypocrisy, what will be happening to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what? Once, because they mock and they make fun of Muslims and believers, Allah yastahzi bihum, like Allah mocks them, Allah would make fun of them, وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ, and prolongs them in their transgression while they wander blindly. Like this mockery of truth, because they keep making fun of this truth, it will be already met with greater consequence. And Allah prolongs their blindness. Look, as if this blindness is subhanallah, punishment. This blindness, to be blind, too blind to see the truth. This is disease. This is punishment. Punishment in the here in this world life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make them blind like that. They don't see the truth. This is punishment. And He makes them go through this tughyan, this injustice, this subhanallah, this these sins, committing a lot of sins, so that it would be they would be carrying a lot of heavy sins on their backs in the end, in the hereafter. So Allah also here is affirming that like subhanallah, to live wealthy in a wealthy life, to have a lot of luxury life, or to be living in or immersed in desires and pleasures, this doesn't imply that you are having a good life. This might be punishment, because you might be going through this because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blinded you not to see the truth. But the one who caused it, it's you, because you have disobeyed at the beginning and you were too stubborn to admit it. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also implying that this punishment might be, we might be hit with it some days in our lives. So we need to be careful as well. And we need to be always praying and asking Allah to let us see the truth all the time. Then He's saying also they have, those hypocrite people, they have lost a trait. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى. Those are the ones who have purchased error in exchange for guidance, subhanallah. Like they have, like, you know, when they are making a trade and they sold the guidance and they got the misguidance instead. So they gave up guidance for misguidance, which is very losing trade, and the worst trade anyone can make because of their ignorance and their blindness. Then فما ربحت تجارتهم, then their transaction, this trade, has brought no profit in it, and they weren't guided either. So then He continues and describing them as well from the verses 8 to 20. When He gives this analogy, مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. Their example, this example of hypocrite, is like one who kindled a fire, okay, turned on a fire, but when it illuminated what was around them, Allah took away their light and left them in darkness, unable to see. Like subhanallah, it didn't stay long. Even if there is access to light, they had access to light, then lost it immediately. And then they started to taste the darkness after the light. So guidance was within reach, and then they let it go. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they are summun bukmun awmiya, like they are deaf, dumb, and blind. And so they will not return. So 3 senses lost, subhanallah, not physically but spiritually. Those ones, as if they will not be able to distinguish the truth from the falsehood at all. They cannot hear truth, they cannot speak it or see it, because they have lost all these senses. And this is also affirming and implying that these senses, subhanallah, they will be working physically and spiritually as well. Because you might be hearing things that are not only in the physical, the real world. You might be hearing other things as well, intuition, inspiration as well. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already closed those this spiritual senses from them. Also, the storm, he's giving the analogy of the storm, أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد, or like a rainstorm from the sky with a darkness, thunder and lightning. They put their fingers in their ears against the thunder, fearing death. But Allah encompasses and He's already muhit bil kafirin, He's surrounding all of the disbelievers. They are terrified of the truth. They don't want to see the truth. They block it out. You would find people around us, like they hate to see the truth. When you talk about death, they hate it. When you talk about Allah, they hate it. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this analogy, like they put their fingers in their ears against the truth. It's already truth, but they don't want to hear it at all. يكاد البرق يقطف أبصارهم. The lightning almost snatches away their sight. Every time it lights the way, They walk into it. But when darkness covers them, they stand still. That like they move only when forced by clarity. And they would be freezing that moment it fades. And this is, subhanAllah, this is the hypocrites' relationship with truth and knowing the truth. They would be always away from it. They don't want to confront it. They don't want to see it. They are always hiding themselves away from it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing their characteristics here in this part. Then we move to the part of Tawheed from 21 to 29. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala switches to a universal call to worship. After describing the three types of the hearts, we have the believer, the disbeliever, the hypocrite. Then Allah now turns to all humanity with a direct call. And this is the eternal invitation to every human being who has ever lived. Again, He's saying, يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O mankind, worship your Lord. Worship your Lord who created you and those before you. He created you and created anyone before you that you may become righteous. لعلكم تتقون. Worship Him so that you become from those who are righteous, those who are conscious of Allah. So Allah addresses all of humanity, not just Muslims here. The goal of worship, because He said the nas, mankind, the goal of worship is taqwa, okay? So that we reach to taqwa, to reach to having this righteousness and consciousness of Allah. Not only ritual worship. He's saying that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you would be reaching to this level of taqwa. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us with His creation as a proof. الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا. Remember that Allah is the one who made for you the earth a bed for you, and the sky وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً, and the sky a ceiling for you, covering for you. And وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً, and He sent down rain. فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم, and He brought forth fruits as provision for you. فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون. So do not attribute to Allah equals while you know. So the one who provides everything deserves everything. Shirk is not ignorance here, it's a deliberate denial. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this part, in these verses, He's announcing what He wants from us, to worship Him so that we end up with taqwa. And then He's reminding us also to ponder in His creation and His blessings around us, from the earth that He has created for us, from the sky that He made a ceiling for us, from the rain, which is provision for us. All of these we need to remember them, so that we end up with not making any partners with Him, or taking any partners with Him. So, and then He continues with the divine challenge, okay? And then He says, okay, وَإِن كُنتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا. If you are in doubt about what we have sent down about our servant Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, if you have doubt in this book, then produce a surah like this. Try to produce us a surah similar to this. If you should be truthful, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making this challenge, and this challenge has stood unanswered for over 40 years old, or 1,400 years old. The living proof of the Quran's divine origin. Nobody can make the same accuracy of this Quran at all. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is challenging every one of us. Come with only one surah similar to this book. فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا. But if you don't, and you will never be able, then He's affirming as well, then fear the fire whose fuel is men and stones. Be careful of the fire, because there is fire, and this fire will be fed and will be fired up more and more with men and stones, prepared for the disbelievers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is already here answering His own challenge before it's even attempted. You will never be able to make such a book at all. Even one surah you cannot. Then He switches to promise of Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always giving you the punishment and the mercy, so that we would be in this moderation of not to be very lenient and depend more that Allah is all, like when people they, because people will be taking advantage of Allah is merciful, Allah is the most merciful, then I'm not gonna pray because He's the most merciful. People would be taking a bad advantage of this. It's not like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us both sides. Be careful. There is Jannah and there is Jahannam. Both of them. So don't be such lenient, okay, in your ibadah and your worship, and also make sure that you get scared as well. So try to be in balance. Respect and the fearing Allah, and at the same time to obey Allah and also expect the mercy from Him. But at least I'm doing I'm obeying Him. I'm obeying the basics at least. Make sure that I'm obeying Him. This is kind of like I respect and I obey. And at the same time, I expect the mercy as well. At that time, the mercy is healthy in moderation. But if you keep saying that Allah is the merciful and then you ignore your salah, this is from shaitan. It shouldn't be this way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is turning here or switching to وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and give glad tidings for those who believe. Give good news, congratulations to those who believe and do righteous good deeds, that they will have gardens beneath which rivers flow. Subhanallah. لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. They have Jannah, and beneath those Jannat, those gardens, rivers flow. Subhanallah. And like after the warning of fire comes the glad tidings of Jannah. Okay, and this is the Quranic balance of fear and hope. We need to be in balance between them. Then the final four. Then the final four verses of this section addressed the wisdom of the Quranic parables, the traits of those who break their covenant, then their irrationality of disbelief, of the complete control of Allah over creation. So from verses during these verses, which is 26 and 27, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَسْتَحِي أَن يَضْرِبَ مَثَلًا مَا بَعُوضَةً. Like, indeed, Allah is not timid to present an example that of a mosquito or what is smaller than this. Those who believe, like if Allah gives us an analogy like that, even if it's simple, those who would believe, they know that it's the truth. And those who would be disbelieving, they would be saying, what did Allah intend by this? Like He's saying that, like He will be always arguing. Those people who disbelieve, they would come up with any kind of argument. Like, what did He intend? What did He mean by that? He misleads many and guides many, and He misleads none except the defiantly disobedient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is affirming here that all of these analogies that He's doing, it might be, subhanAllah, guiding many, and it might be misguiding others as well. So the same verse is telling you about the subhanallah, the dual weapon of this book, that the same verse guides the believer deeper, causes the disbeliever to stumble farther, and the Quran is a test as much as it's a guide. The disbeliever would be reading the same verse, okay, and he would be doubting it, and it would be leading him to more misguidance. But the believer would be reading it, and it would be taking him to more guidance and belief. Subhanallah. Even if it was only analogy of a mosquito. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then switched to الَّذِينَ يَنقُضُونَ عَهْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مِيثَاقِهِ. Those who break the covenant of Allah after contracting it. وَيَقْطَعُونَ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ أَن يُوصَلَ. They cut it out, they cut what Allah has ordered them to be connected, to be joined, and cause corruption on earth is to those who are the losers. These traits define the ultimate losers, okay, who are breaking covenant and breaking up ties, connections, and spreading corruptions as well. Those are the main losers, the traits, the characteristics of losers. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's switching to verse 28 when he says, how can you disbelieve? Like, كيف تكفرون بالله كنتم أمواتا. Then he's here showing us the signs, his miracles. كيف تكفرون بالله وكنتم أمواتا. How can you disbelieve in Allah when you were lifeless? Like, you came from nowhere. You were already dead. And he brought you to life. Then he will cause you to die. You will be dying again. And then he will bring you back to life. And then to him you will be returned. Subhanallah. So he's already expressing the whole the full existence of human being in here. We had non-existence, then life, then death, then resurrection, and then return to him. Return to him. ثم إليه ترجعون. Return, he used the word return because we were originated from there. We're just returning back to him. So he's affirming also, he's talking here to those disbelievers, and then he's also stating his power when he said هو الذي خلق لكم ما في الأرض جميعا. It's he, Allah, who created for you all that is on this earth. ثم استوى إلى السماء. Then he directed himself to the heaven and made them 7 heavens, and he's knowing of all things. So everything on earth was created already for us. So he's reminding us that I have created this earth for you. And then the control of Allah covers earth and the 7 heavens as well. And he's all knowing of all things. So the call has already been made. The proof has been given. And the choice belongs to every human being now. Like, look, I'm reminding you with what I did with you. You were nothing. You came from death already. I'm the one who revived you. I'm the one who caused you to come back to life. And I'm the one who's going to cause you to die again and to return again and to go for the resurrection again. I'm the one who's going to do all of this. I'm the one who's controlling all of you, all the stages of your existence. So he's reminding also that he has created all of these, created the earth, created the heavens for our sake. He's reminding us, and he's knowledgeable of everything. So then we got to believe in him because of at least all of these. So then he moves to these verses of Adam, the story of Adam alayhi salam, and those verses begin with from verse 30 to 39. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these verses, he tells us why we are on earth. It's not punishment, but it's a meaningful test. And the story of the Prophet Adam is like the story of all of us. We got honored, repented, challenged, gone through mistakes, made mistakes, being forgiven, and guide forward as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did the same with Adam alayhi salam to remind us that you will be going through the same phases as well. So we have Adam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared he would place a khalifa. A khalifa, we can say a representative on earth, okay? Someone who's working on earth. The angels wondered about potential corruption. But Allah subhanahu, the angels told him that they will be doing corruption on this earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded that I know what you don't know. This means that humans have a hidden potential for good. There will be good humans and there will be bad as well. But there will be some certain type of people who would be very good. They would be knowledgeable. They would be having a responsibility beyond what the angels saw. Because the angels just admit and state that those creatures, human beings, might cause corruption because you have given them the full control, the full freedom of choice. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is affirming that you don't know, I know what you don't know. So, and then he moves to Adam, was taught the names and the meanings of all things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught the human being, this human being that he has created, the names and the meanings of everything around. A knowledge the angels didn't have. This knowledge of speaking, learning, knowledge, finding out the wrong, distinguishing between the good and bad, all of this knowledge, knowing about the things, the names of the creatures, names of things around. So the gift of knowledge set humanity apart from the angels, and came with great responsibility because we have full responsibility of a choice. Then after that, the arrogance of Iblis comes in the verse 34. All angels bowed to Adam in respect because they obey Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created him, so they obeyed. Okay, and but except Shaitan. Shaitan, he refused, and he was from jinn. Shaitan was from jinn. He refused because his refusal came from arrogance. He didn't want to prostrate to Adam. He felt superior, okay? He felt much better than Adam because he was made of fire. He said that I'm made of fire, while Adam was made of clay. So look, subhanallah, because of the material that was used for creating him, he felt very superior or better than him. And this pride led him to downfall, and it's the root of all disobedience to God. Because at least Adam alayhi salam, he repented for not like when he ate from the tree. We're going to hit this part now, but subhanallah, the sin of Iblis was arrogance, and he didn't even try to repent. Then we have in verse 35 to 36 the forbidden tree. Then Adam and Hawa ate from the forbidden tree in that part after Shaitan tricked them. Shaitan was very jealous. He went around them, pushing them to eat from the forbidden tree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked them or commanded them not to touch it at all. But Shaitan was there to seduce and tempt them, and the mistake of Adam was out of weakness and desire in here, while Iblis was from pride. So Adam repented, but Iblis remained stubborn. And the path forward depends on how we respond to our errors as well. Okay, we should be repenting as well. It's fine to make mistakes, to commit sins, but we need to be always repenting. So after that, we have forgiveness is granted. Adam sought forgiveness from Allah in the verse 37, and Allah immediately accepted his repentance in here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Tawwab Rahim. He's the ever accepting of repentance and the most merciful. No mistake is too big if we sincerely turn back to him. So he repented, Adam repented, and Allah accepted his repentance, and he has forgiven him. Also, the verse from 38 to 39, humanity was sent to earth. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them to earth, sent the human being, the Adam, to earth, and with a promise. He said that like go down, both of you, the Adam alayhi salam and the human being, and along with Shaitan as an enemy. So for the sake of test. So he was sent to the earth with promise. Guidance would be sent. I will be guiding you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that I will be sending you guidance tools, don't worry, to tell you what to do. And those who will follow those tools, those guidance tools, will live without fear or sadness. And those who would be rejecting it will face eternal loss. And earth isn't a punishment, it's a place for learning and choosing, and the place of test. That test is set, the guidance is here, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already destined this to happen so that we would be filtered out and selected for those who would be entering Jannah and getting the best reward ever, which is the permanent residence. And He gave us this power of choice, and so that we would be choosing which path to go through. And this is the core of the test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining the core of the test, the purpose of your existence overall in this surah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these verses from 38 to 39, He's saying what? قُلْنَا اهْبُطُوا مِنْهَا جَمِيعًا. Look at this verse, very strong. اهْبُطُوا مِنْهَا جَمِيعًا فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنِّي هُدًى. He's talking to Adam and the Shaitan. Go down from it, all of you. And when guidance comes to you from me, okay, he's talking to the human being. When guidance comes to you from me, whoever follows my guidance, when you follow my guidance, there will be no fear concerning them. You will not be having any kind of fear. nor will they grieve, and there won't be any kind of grief over you. Like you will be going through this test, living in this earth, even in the moments of hardships and pain, you will be always protected. You will be always shielded. There won't be any fear on you. But under one condition, which is following the guidance, following the proper guidance. So, what is the guidance? It's the guidelines that he has shared with us, the believing in the messengers, reading Quran, connecting with him, following his commands, obeying his commands. All of these are what are the guidance. So we need to follow them. Once we follow them, there is no fear over us and there is no grief. So this verse contains one of the most comforting promises in the entire Quran. Those who follow the divine guidance will have no fear of the future and no grief over the past, subhanallah, and no fear, la khawf, like refers to what lies ahead, the hereafter, the death, accountability. No khawf, there is no fear over you. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Even this world life, you will be living it peacefully, and then you will be entering Jannah. There is no fear, don't worry. Refers to what has passed from grief, also huzn, from grief, from loss, mistakes. This is the complete emotional and spiritual security that comes from following the guidance of Allah. So, this is the answer for everyone who's suffering from anxiety and stress and fear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you just follow the guidance and there won't be any fear or grief. You will not be feeling anything from this. And then he comes up with the contradiction for the disbeliever. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا أُولَئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. And those who disbelieve and deny our signs, those are the companions of the fire. They will abide then eternally. They will be living in it eternally. So he's always showing us both sides. So we have four timeless themes from the story of Adam. Again, the human honor. We have the human honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored the human being. The angels were commanded to prostrate to Adam. And this prostration was out of honor to all of us, not worship. Humanity carries a dignity that demands responsibility, which is the power of choice to decide, okay, to worship Allah or to disbelieve. This is the power of choice. Also, now knowledge elevates in here because Adam alayhi salam was taught the names of all things, knowledge received from Allah. It's the source of human elevation above all creation. To have this knowledge, we are distinguished beings. Also, arrogance destroys. Iblis said that I'm better than him. This is one sentence of arrogance. Erase, subhanallah, everything, all the worship. Because, and Ibn al-Qayyim is one of the most famous scholars, he said that obedience with arrogance leads to destruction. So make sure that we obey, we surrender, we submit. This is the core of our religion, not to be arrogant. If you become arrogant, you're going to spoil and ruin and sabotage the whole thing. Repentance restores, like Adam alayhi salam, he received words from his Lord and repented. He got inspired and he repented, and Allah accepted immediately. And Ibn al-Qayyim states that sin with humility leads to elevation, arrogance with worship leads to ruin. And because of Adam alayhi salam, he had this intuition of repenting in himself. That's why Allah inspired him with these words. That's why he asked for forgiveness. That's why Allah forgiven him. Shaitan or Iblis didn't have all of these in his heart. So let's move. This is the part. This is until verse 39 now. SubhanAllah, we have finished all those parts talking about the disbelievers, the believers, the disbelievers, the hypocrites, mentioning also the story of Adam, the purpose of our existence. Now we move into the history that warns this ummah, the history of Bani Israel. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala devotes more than 20 verses in this section to the history of Bani Israel. And Ibn Kathir stated that this is not merely history, it's a warning to the Muslim Ummah against repeating their patterns. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned and stated their patterns so that we would be careful not to follow the same one. The more blessings they received, the more they complained, and the more signs they were shown, the more they demanded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us how much He helped them and they denied. And the more covenants they made, the more promises they made, the more readily they broke them as well. And this is the mirror that Allah is holding up in here, and He's showing it to us so that we would be understanding all the sides. So, 5 repeated mistakes of Bani Israel. What did they do exactly? They forgot the covenant, the promise. They were given a direct covenant with Allah, yet repeatedly they forgot it and they abandoned it when it became inconvenient for them. They forgot, they kept or tended to forget any obligation, okay, and it was like a spiritual disease in them. Also, they altered or changed the scripture, that they changed the words of Allah revelation to suit their desires, which is Torah. This is the gravest and the greatest form of religious corruption they did, and the Quran remains protected against it, alhamdulillah. And complaining after blessings as well. They, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them with food, with manna and salwa, food from heaven in the desert when they were in the desert, but they still complained and they said that we cannot endure more than, we cannot endure only one type of food, we need more. And it was also it reflected also their ingratitude in the middle of blessing is a warning for, and this is of course this is warning for every generation, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that you should be always grateful for everything that you're getting. Also killing the prophets. They violated the greatest covenant of all, respect of the messengers of Allah, by plotting against and killing those sent to guide them as well. They killed prophets, their prophets as well. So excessive questioning, this is one of their mistakes as well. The story of the cow, everybody knows inside Surah Al Baqarah, shows how unnecessary questioning in religious matters leads to hardship. Don't question Allah, just believe and obey and stop it. But they were questioning on the small and arguing on the small, very, very small details, and just for the sake of arguing. And the simple command became complicated once they start or tend to argue in a simple command from Allah. Allah would make it very more complicated for them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's already beginning with Ya Bani Israel, اذكروا نعمتي, O children of Israel, remember my favor, which I have bestowed upon you, and fulfill my covenant, that I will fulfill your covenant, subhanallah, and be afraid of only me. Like, أوفوا بعهدي أوفوا بعهدكم, like, fulfill my covenant upon you, and then I will be fulfilling your covenant as well from me. وآمنوا بما أنزلت مصدقا, and believe in what I have sent down, confirming which is already with you, and don't be the first to disbelieve in it, and don't exchange my signs for a small price, and fear me, فاتقون, fear me. So, and ولا تلبسوا الحق بالباطل, and do not mix the truth with falsehood, and conceal the truth while you know. وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة, and establish prayer, do it properly, give zakah, and prostrate with those who prostrate. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is laying the foundation, is giving them all the commands to follow properly. And he speaks directly to the children of Israel in here. And subhanAllah, this is the longest direct message to any group in the Quran. It's like a look back at their history, and this is very important lesson for all of us. If we forget Allah, break the promises to Him, or mix up truth with lies, or we can fall into the same trap. So it's to remind for us to avoid all of these things. Be careful. These were the traits of Bani Israel. And these verses, they lay the foundation of the expectations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep remembering His countless blessings, and to also maintain and uphold the covenant made with Him, and also to never intentionally obscure or try to conceal the truth, and to also worship properly, to obey His commands and worship Him properly. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing here in verses 44 to 46, He's addressing uh, children of Bani Israel, now turning to their hypocrisy and their neglect of their own teaching and prescribing the remedy as well. He said, أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم. Do you order righteousness of the people and forget yourself? Do you try to give advice and order people, advise them to be righteous, and you don't do this for yourself? Like you forget yourselves while you recite the scripture, then you will not reason. Don't you have any reasoning? واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إنها لكبيرة إلا الخاشعين. Then he commands them, seek your help through patience and prayer. And indeed, it's difficult. This prayer is very difficult, except for the submissive. He's saying that as long as you're not submissive, you're not surrendering, you're not in the presence of Allah, this salah will be very heavy, too heavy on you, and it will be very hard to do it. And الذين يظنون أنهم ملاقو ربهم وأنهم إليه راجعون, who are certain, who are الخاشعين, who are those submissive, those who are certain that they will meet their Lord and they will be returning to Him. They have this faith that they will be meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they will be returning to Him. Then after that, like Allah in these verses 47 to 59, then Allah now is listing the greatest miracles ever given to them, to people, one after another. Not to praise them, but to ask, like, after all of these miracles I gave you, what did you do? Subhanallah. And the pattern is striking. Like every blessing was met with complaint, every miracle with ingratitude. What are the blessings that Allah has given them? He saved them from Fir'aun, from His mercy. All of these in the verses of 47 to 59. The sea was split for them. Also, they were provided with food from the sky, man and salwa. They felt ingratitude as well. They didn't like it. They had shade of clouds in the desert to shade over them, water flowing from rock for them. All of these Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them with them. And then how they responded. They complained about their situation all the time. They asked for lesser food instead of what Allah provided, and worshipped they worshipped the calf, a golden calf, while Musa was away. They repeatedly tested and doubted the commands of Allah all the time, argued it, and also they forgot the covenant after seeing the miracles. All of these miracles, and they still try to disobey and disbelieve and obey anything else, and subhanallah, ascribe partners to Allah. Like they denied so much. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating and mentioning all of these miracles and how they responded against them. And Allah subhanahu and the Prophet also alayhi salatu wasalam, he warned us, this Muslim ummah, that we would follow the same pattern. So ask yourself as well, like, have I ever received a blessing and complained? We need to be always grateful to Allah. We need to be pondering on the creation, on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for us. We need to be always remembering and believing and obeying and performing salah, establishing salah and zakah and fear Allah. Like we need to do the opposite so that we would be connected with Allah. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has explained everything that is the opposite so that we would be so that He would be showing also or displaying the best portrait ever, or the final image, which is what? To obey, to be grateful, to remember, to believe, not to argue, not to be stubborn, to be always connected. So these are the features if you would like to get connected with Allah and if you'd like to get heaven, inshallah. So verses from 60 to 61, after all miracles, we have mentioned them, the sea split, food from the sky, water from rock. Bani Israel made a request that revealed the state of their hearts. They asked to swap the divine provision for ordinary food. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like when they didn't like the food from the sky, manna and salwa, and they asked for a change. the exchange for that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like told them, like, would you exchange what's better for what is lower? Like what's wrong with you? Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning them. Like, are you like, what's wrong with you? You don't understand, you don't reason things. So, and then what happened as a result? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them or given them humiliation. They were stuck with humiliation, a loss of honor and dignity before others. When people abandon what Allah gave them in favor lesser things, their standing falls. Subhanallah, humiliation, they got it, poverty as well. They were struck with misery. And these are some certain punishments when we disbelieve, when we argue, when we get disconnected, we get hit with these spiritual and material poverty because of choosing the dunya over divine provision. Does not bring satisfaction, it brings emptiness. And the anger of Allah, they earned the anger of Allah because they rejected the signs. And this was not ignorance, they knew the truth. It's a completely different from ignorance. They knew the truth and they still choose to turn away. And that's what made it very serious. So these are the three consequences that they got: humiliation and poverty, to be humiliated, and poverty and the anger of Allah. They were not random punishments, they were the natural result of a people who repeatedly choose the lower over the higher, the dunya over al-akhirah, and the temporary over the eternal, the desires over the commands of Allah. And this pattern is warning: every time a heart prefers dunya over what Allah has given, decline decline begins, and you will be on those stages, even if it's gradual or it's happening gradually. Then in verses 62 to 66, why was the cow commanded here? We start with the cow, the story of the cow. Before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the slaughter of the cow, what happened among the Bani Israel? There was a murder that happened, and Bani Israel went to Musa alayhi salam to ask him about the murder who killed that man. And his people began to dispute over who was responsible. They brought the matter to Musa, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the solution. They asked Musa to bring a miracle, get a miracle from Allah to find out the killer, the murderer. Then Allah revealed the solution, but He asked them with something to do. So, and like we have here, in here, a man was killed, a man from Bani Israel was murdered, and his killer was unknown. And in these verses, and his family disputed and accused one another. Then the community was in conflict. Then they came to Musa and they brought it to Musa, and then Allah revealed the truth. Okay, when He asked them to what? To slaughter a cow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa to slaughter a cow. And this verse here with قال موسى لقومه إن الله يأمركم أن تذبحوا بقرة. And when Musa said to his people, indeed Allah commands you to slaughter a cow. The command was very simple, like it doesn't make sense. Like, and also Bani Israel would be like, what is it like? Is it related to like to survive, to return back, like to find out the truth or the murder? What is the relevance here to slaughter a cow? They were always arguing, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant to make the logical means very illogical, or it doesn't make sense to us, or it's not relevant, to test our belief. If we're gonna believe in the thing, even if it looked very small and trivial to us. So the command was simple, but had they obeyed immediately, any cow would be enough. No, they denied it, and they started to argue, like, what kind of cow? Okay, to show us what's the color of the cow, how it looks like. They started to argue more and more in these verses of 67 to 71. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is implying here that you could have said, okay, and I would have given you any cow. That's it. Like, but they kept making it complicated. Then Allah made it more complicated for them. So simplicity in worship is mercy, and when Allah and His Messenger have spoken clearly, the response of the believer, we say what sami'na wa ata'na, we hear and we obey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us this message. Just say we hear and we obey. That's it. No need to argue. No need to argue even if it doesn't look meaningful for you. So here the questions in this part, they started with the questions. They questioned what kind of what is the type of the cow in here, like call upon your Lord, and they subhanallah they were rude when they would be saying it. They say call upon your Lord, like Bani Israel talks to Musa alayhi salam, call upon your Lord to make clear to us what it is. And he says it's a cow. Then Musa would go to Allah and ask, and then Allah would say it's a cow. It's neither old nor young, but in between. He makes it complicated. As long as since they keep arguing, he makes it more complicated, more and more. And then they continued and said, "Id'u lana rabbaka yubayyin lana ma lawnaha." Call upon your Lord to make clear to us what color it is. And then he said, yes, it's a yellow cow, bright in color, pleasing to those who look at it. He makes it very complicated. صفراء فاقع لونها تسر الناظرين. If they had said cow, just a cow, if they had just say yes, we obey, we bring any cow, Allah would have made the secret in that cow, and that's it, in any cow. But they have complicated in it, then Allah made it more complicated and difficult for them. Then also they continued in this verse and they said, call upon your Lord to clarify for us what it is. All cows look alike to us. They look the same. He says it's a cow not trained to blow or water, feel sound with blemish, subhanAllah, without blemish. Like he makes it more complicated. And like they barely slaughtered it in the end, like subhanAllah. And Ibn Kathir is noting here that if they had slaughtered any cow at the very first command, it would have been accepted. But their excessive questioning was, subhanAllah, it wasn't obedience, it wasn't piety. It was just argument. They had doubt in themselves. And the Prophet ﷺ said, those who before you were destroyed because of their excessive questioning. He's also affirming that excessive questioning in the things that are not important. No need. It means this is implying or affirming or displaying that you have doubt inside yourself. So when Allah commands, the believer says, we hear and we obey. This is what we should be doing. We hear and we obey. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes the first major section of the surah. After all signs, miracles, and revelation, blessings, warnings, the hearts hardened. He said, what? ثُمَّ قَصَتْ قُلُوبُكُم مِّن بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ. Then your hearts became hardened for you after that, subhanAllah. This is the punishment they got. Their hearts became hardened, like stones. You know, the stones they don't feel, or even harder. For indeed there are stones from which rivers burst forth. Like he's giving this analogy, like even the stones, you would be finding stones, subhanAllah, that they have use, benefit. There are stones from which rivers burst forth. وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَّقَّقْ فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ. And there are some that is split open and water comes out. And there are some that fall down out of fear of Allah. Like there are some kind of stones which are, and it has khushu', submission, and fear of Allah. And Allah is, subhanAllah, but you don't have it. You have stones which are really very hard. Your hearts became very hard, like a stone. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unaware of what you do. He's knowledgeable of what you do exactly. He is knowledgeable of what you have inside your hearts. And Ibn Kathir notes here that even stones respond to Allah. Rivers flow from them. They burst forth in reverence and submission. But the hardened human heart, by contrast, refuses to yield even to the clearest guidance. And this is the feature, or this is the trait of the hardened heart. They don't feel anything. They got disconnected. So guidance here depends on the condition of the heart. We have humility. The angels received guidance because they submitted. Iblis was rejected because he refused. And the first requirement of guidance is a humble heart. You need to be humbled. You need to be obeying. You need to be submitting. Don't argue a lot, just obey. See the commands of Allah, they are very clear, and obey them. Obedience, Bani Israel questioned every command. The believer submits first and understands in time. And true guidance requires action, not just agreement. And then gratitude. Every blessing ignored is a step toward hardness of the heart. Every blessing, if we ignore and we become ungrateful to any blessing we have, this is increasing the harshness of our hearts. So make sure that we admit the blessings, we become grateful to every blessing that we have because we have so many. Recognizing Allah's gifts and blessings as well, even if they are small, keeps the heart soft and feeling. And when we have the heart soft, it would be feeling everything. It would be very connected and receptive to everything from Allah, receptive to guidance. I would be feeling things that nobody else would be feeling. I would be connected to the truth and I would be receiving it easily. But if you have this kind of harshness and when the heart is very hard and it be very hard to receive, and when you become like when you lose this receptivity feature, the heart becomes useless, like you would be exposed to every harm in this life. Also, sincerity. The hypocrite says the right words without the right intention. Sincerity, doing everything for Allah alone. This is what transforms religious practice into true guidance. All of these are the themes that we should be understanding and benefiting from this part. So again, we have three types of people on that part until 74, three types of people. When I read the characteristics of the true believer, okay, and then we have also the true believer, the hypocrites, and also the disbelievers. Also, Adam, we have Adam story that we need also to ponder into it and think about it, read it very well and think about it. And also the Bani Israel patterns, okay? Look at them, look at how much ungrateful they were, look at the relationship between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will come to understand the attributes of Allah and how Allah deals with us based on this story as well. This is subhanallah giving you awareness. This story is not history only. It shows us, and it's useless to know their history. It's showing you how to deal with Allah. It shows you the system, subhanallah, the clarity, the guidance on how to get connected to Allah, how to deal with Allah, how to be grateful, how to be obeying, how to be submissive, how to be what Allah wants from you. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ, establish the prayer, وَالزَّكَاةَ, like be follow the main thing, the main obligations, the main commands. And at the same time, also work on the softness of your heart. Make sure that you become grateful to every blessing that you would be getting, you would be having, so that you don't lose the connection, so that you don't lose the receptivity feature. All of these are lessons in this part. It's not only a matter of history that we just read. Subhanallah, the Quran is not history at all. The Quran is behind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using this theme and tool of showing us the stories to teach us. This is His way of showing us the things, to show us an analogy of something, an example, to show us a story from the prophets, a story of patience, long time of patience, long time, like the story of Yaqub alayhi salam, his patience, Ayub, all of these stories to show us the relationship. How would we be reacting as a believer, as a true believer? Subhanallah. And he explains and mentions all of these stories before even the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, existence. Like he explains them and narrates them in the Quran throughout this book to show us the relationship is the same. Nothing has changed with the Prophet. It's the same. You should be obeying. Only you should be obeying. You should be, subhanAllah, submitting. This Islam, it's already the same religion of all the other scriptures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to us. He was sending the same message over and over again, but a lot of people has distorted them through the scriptures. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is affirming in this book, this is what I want. This is what I wanted with all the other prophets again. The same. I wanted obedience. I wanted submission. Just if you would like to get connection, receptivity, guidance in this life is just a phase you will be going through. And this life, what you need to do is to be connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and knowing that you are now in a test, and this test journey you should be responding with submission. And if you would like to get the victory after that and the great prize afterwards, you should be connected with Allah, so that I would be giving you guidance. I would be giving you spotlight, and this spotlight would be helping you out to go through this test, because it's not easy. It's a hard test. It's a difficult test that we would be going through, because it's very challenging. It's not an easy one. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that it's fine, it's a short journey, but if you would like to go through it without fear and without grief, with peace, just follow the guidance that I keep sending to you. And this guidance is belief in messengers, what the Prophet ﷺ has shared with us. Okay, because the Prophet has shared with us everything that was sent with the prophets before, but he filtered them out, finalized them, and shared them again with us, and told us that just follow this book. So what we need to do is just to follow now the proper guidance, to obey Allah and the commands, His commands, and also what the Prophet ﷺ has shared with us, to obey it, not to argue, because it's not this religion is not science to analyze. It's like, subhanallah, obedience. It's mostly based on the heart. And look at the words of the heart. It's always, subhanallah, the heart. قَسْتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ, like the hearts became hard. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say minds, didn't say brains. Because this is affirming that this religion is a matter of connection, feeling, to feel the existence of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing the softness of your heart. Is your heart soft enough to receive this, the truth, the belief of the unseen? Or you're gonna be someone who's very stubborn, and someone who would be always arguing, what is the evidence, who has created this earth, no, we didn't come from, we don't have God. Like all of these, subhanallah, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is filtering us in here, based on that softness of the heart. Do you feel it? Do you feel these words when you read them? Do you feel them even if you don't understand them? Then your heart is soft, is pure to receive. And then Allah would be helping you. But if you keep arguing, if you keep denying, if you keep saying, no, how, tell me, I don't feel it, I'm not gonna feel it until I see, I prove it. Like those people, Allah doesn't like them. Allah here is telling you like His attributes. Like the relationship, the structure of the relationship between us and Him. How should it be? Through these stories. That's why when you read Surah Al Baqarah, focus on yourself and try to ponder on that part, ponder in that, and connect it with yourself. Always, subhanAllah, try to say that, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like He didn't like this, then I shouldn't be doing that. He liked that, He sent this command, then I should be doing this. So this is the power of Surah Al Baqarah. If you want to make it very, very powerful, we need to look at it this way. And inshallah, we have reciter now. He's gonna recite, Sheikh Walid. He's gonna recite Surah Al Baqarah from the part from the verse 1 until 74. If you would like to recite after him and learn Surah Al Baqarah, you can get your Quran and recite after him. He's one of the most special reciters in the Quran. So you can read after him, you can recite after him, and he's gonna help you. He's gonna just read it, and you can just recite after him. Is